Hello and welcome to Liz's Craft Room. Today I'm going to show you how to make this card. It's really pretty. It's tattered lace, of course. Let me show you the dies. This is the Baroque border and edge dies. They come as a pair, so it makes it even more easier to create a beautiful card. So that's the ones we're going to be using. I've done a few little preliminary steps first of all. So here we go. First of all, you need to cut a card base. Now the card base is 7.5 by 6 inches. This is the card base here. You then cut two backgrounds. The first one is the blue, which is 7.25 by 6 3/4. The second layer is 7 1/8 by 6 3/4, and that creates the first border. So the first thing you need to do is to get the thin border strip here, find the cutting edge, which is this one here. It's the continuous line, as you know. The dotted side means it's going to stay in the cardstock. And all you need to do, and for quickness, and this is a really good tip, is to bring your cardstock together so your edges are completely close together here. Place your cutting die over the top like so, tape it down and cut. You're cutting both layers, which means that when you do cut them through, they are absolutely equal, both sides. So when they're cut, this is what they look like. Let's move this out of the way. So you can see that now I've shifted that along a little bit, we've got the perfect border either side. So if I was to bring it up, you can see how that was cut. And if I was to move that one down, you can see how that was cut. But because of that difference in the sizes, I've actually got a gorgeous little blue border either side. And when we place that on our card base, because we've cut it down, it's made it the perfect card base for your card. So as you can agree, that already looks lovely. The second thing we need to do now is to actually emboss this white one. It's great as it is. It's a linen cardstock. It's really pretty. But the best thing to do is to put some sort of emboss over it. Now I've used just a spotty background there, as you can see. That's a tattered lace file. It's great. It actually covers all eventualities, male, female, and I use it a lot. So emboss that with those spots. So the next thing you need to do is to create this beautiful decorative edge here. And I think you'll agree that that Baroque border is particularly lovely. So all you need to do there is, and again, get two more pieces of cardstock, and similar sort of thing where you're cutting the first one, the blue one here, that's going to be 7.25 by 4.5. The white one is 7 1/8 by 4 1/4. And the difference means again that you're getting those different layers, as you can see. But this time you need to cut them separately. So you cut the blue one first. Now if we use this gorgeous Baroque edge, this border, you can see again we've got a continuous cutting line all the way around. We've got a dotted edge here, and that dotted edge means that that side's going to stay in the cardstock. This is the one that's going to cut. So you're placing that over your cardstock. Now you might think, well, it looks like it's too big. But when you cut it, actual fact, the cutting line is just inside that cardstock. Can you see? That's the cutting line. And as I bring that up, both sides are completely covered. So we need to cut this side once, turn this round and cut that side. Okay, and that way you'll end up with this shape here. So let's just get that untangled. So that's the shape you're going to make. So let me just get my piece of cardstock and you'll be able to see that a little bit more clearly. There we go. So that creates that. You're going to then repeat the same process with the white piece of cardstock. It's slightly smaller, which means that when you cut it, it's a perfect layer to go over the top. And can you see how beautiful that looks, because it's just a little bit smaller. You may find when you take them out of the machine that they're slightly wobbly. I don't know if you can see that, a bit crinkly. Just pop those through the machine. In fact, I'll do it now for you. So all we do is take it over to the machine, and of course this size die will actually go through your smaller machines. For my crossover I'm taking the pressure up to around about 6, just enough just to flatten those curly edges, and it gives it a neater finish on your design. So there we are. So now if I show you how that looks now, it's completely changed. It's lovely and flat, and that'll go perfectly on your card. So to build that card up, what we need to do now is get all our pieces back. So this is our background, which is going to go onto the base. And this is the base. Let's get the right piece. So this is the base. I haven't embossed it. I didn't want to waste your time. So all we need to do now is put this layer down onto our blue piece. I'm using a glue runner. You could use wet glue, whatever you feel is appropriate. And as typical, I've just run out of tape runner, but I've got another one handy. So just bring those two together, get yourself the perfect edge, and you can see how lovely that looks. I've got some foam tape on the back. Foam tape is really essential for building up the layers, to giving depth and dimension, to adding shadows, to giving interest to your project. Now that could be home decor, it could be a scrapbook, it could be card making. It's whatever the project is. Having that foam tape on there really does make a difference. So pop that down. Then we need to bring in our layers, and this time I'm still going to be using my tape runner to put those layers down, and I only want to run the tape runner along the centre of that design. So all we're going to do is bring that across and lay it down and get that quite central if we can. The second layer, in fact I'm going to put the glue runner right across the middle. I don't want to glue all these bits and pieces down. First of all, there's no point, and secondly I like to have that little bit of fluidity, movement to my design. I've then cut out 2 gorgeous flowers from our Charisma Climbing Rose CD, and again I've used parchment. I've actually printed on parchment, which is very pretty. A little bit of glue in the centre there, that's all I need, and pop those down. Again, we've got movement, we've got interest, we've got dimension. And the last thing is I've made myself a beautiful bow. So all I'm going to do with that is get my sticky dots. I've already put my gorgeous embellishment on. I'm putting a sticky dot on the back of that. There we go. And put my embellishment back on there. It has got a sticky dot on the back, it's misbehaving. So there we are. So we have, again, the beautiful card front there, which I think you'll agree, using these new Baroque borders and edge dies, look absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again soon.